Okay, we have a situation where we have a multiple choice test, and the multiple choice test has, let's say, 10 questions, and there are 3 choices for each question, only one of which is correct. The question is, if we choose answers at random, what's the probability that we get at least 40% on the test? So you might want to think about that, pause and think about that. Okay, first question, is this a binomial? Probability. Well, each question is a trial. And on each trial, you pick okay. On each trial, I hear Simon and Garfunkel in the background. Yeah, kind of like Simon and Garfunkel, a little distracting. We'll try to keep the old mind on what we're doing. Okay, on each trial, excuse me, the probability of success is a probability of getting the answer right. So, what we have is answers either right or wrong. Okay? Now, that random choice of answers, probability of getting an answer right is 1/3. And trials, for successes, the probability of a success is 1/3. Probability of a failure on each trial is 2/3. So we have N, we have R, we have P, we have Q. We can fill that in to the formula, okay? And we're going to get C of NR, which is C of 10 trials for 4 successes. Now, what we're getting is a probability of exactly 40%. That's not the same as a probability of at least 40%, but it's an illustration. Okay, so we do have C of 10 for ways to distribute the 4 successes among the 10 questions. There are C of 10 for combinations of question numbers 1 through 10 on which you get the right answer. Put the possible combinations. Okay. Then the probability, we're going to get 4 successes. Well, that's probability is 1/3 to the 4th for any of these combinations. And failure is going to be 6 times. You're going to have 6 failures, so 2/3 to the 6th. Probability of failure raised to the power of the number of failures. That's a probability of getting exactly 40%. Now, we asked the probability of getting at least 40%. And here we've just calculated the probability of getting exactly 40%. In order to calculate the probability of getting at least 40%, well, we could figure the probability of getting 50%. That would be C of 10, 5, because we'd have 5 successes times 1/3 to the 5th and 2/3 to the 5th. The probability of 6 successes, which would be a 60%, that'd be more than 40%. And we'd have a 6 here, and we'd have a 6 here, and a 4 here. And we could go right down the list and list all those probabilities from 40% up to 100%. So I'm going to write those down over here and then talk about a slightly easier way to get the result. Okay, it's a little routine, but I've written them out. Probability of 50% would be C of 10, 5, because you're going to have 5 successes out of 10, times probability of success raised to the 5th, 1/3 to the 5th, times the probability of failure raised to the 5th, because there'll have to be 5 failures in order to get exactly 50%. Probability of exactly 60%, well, it's going to be 10, 6. Probability of success now raised to the 6th, probability of failure to the 4th, and so on down the line. Should be clear exactly what each of these means. So to get the probability of at least 40%, we'd have to add the probability of 40% to the probability of 50% to the probability of 60, 70, 80, 90% plus the probability of 100%. So we add from 40% the probabilities from 40% up to 100%, and we get the probability of getting at least 40%. Slightly less intensive, easier, quicker, less computation intensive, less writing solution would be to say, well, the probability of at least 40% is 1 minus the probability of less than 40%. Okay, so we can calculate the probability of less than 40%. There are fewer cases for the probability of less than 40%, and so we write that as 1 minus the probability of 0% plus 10% plus the probability of 20% plus the probability of 30%. 1 minus the sum of all these. There are only 4 expressions to evaluate, whereas when we do the probability of greater than or at least 40%, we have 7 expressions to evaluate. So it's slightly easier to do this. It's not really easier, it's just less work to do it this way than it is to do it this way.